episode of Gunners in Africa podcast. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a wonderful week. We've reached our 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. My next target is 1,500. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's been a wonderful week. We continue a great win in the North London derby. Now that the dust is settled, I did rewatch the game to just see, because when I watch games, it becomes so emotional. You're so attached in the game, the emotions. Sometimes, because of the pressure and the intensity of the game, you won't necessarily focus on the things that we see in terms of the tactics, how the shape, the strategy of the game, how it pans out. You just focus on the good things and some of the bad things. So it's more about moments and what happens at that moment. So I went to watch the game again. Got the same feelings and how good we were. Same. I did post on Sunday, but it was such a great performance from the team. And one, of course, the standout is Eberechi Eze becoming the fourth man to score a hat-trick in the North London derby, which is wonderful for him. It's such a dream. It's probably a dream of every Arsenal fan to score a hat-trick in the North London derby. So great for Eberechi Eze. Also a great performance. A lot of analysis has been done in terms of how we set up and how we broke down Spurs and stuff, and different performances from different players and their roles. But I think I'll talk about some of those players. But this is sort of going to do a reflection on the North London derby, a bit of a reflection, not in so much depth, but in just highlighting a few things, highlighting a few players, and also then do a preview of the UEFA Champions League game against Bayern, two of the best teams in Europe at the moment. Both teams are doing well in their leagues, are leading top of their leagues, and they've won four out of 4 in the Champions League. At the moment, we haven't considered anything. So I'll talk to that game, do a preview of that game. So without further ado, let's start on the North London derby. A great performance, a 4-1 win for the Arsenal, a hat-trick for Eberechi Eze and Leandro Trossard. Just reflecting on the team itself, sort of throughout the season I've been learning and things that we've been trying to do to teams in showing different faces, playing in different ways, being unpredictable, and also being able to win in any context, what happens. So I think this game, for me, Spurs tried to set up similar to how Palace set up, but the problem with them is that they still wanna play. But the other thing I noticed I felt before I listened to Thomas Frank's pre-match interview. So he was talking about how they set up. They wanted to be aggressive. They wanted to compete for set pieces. Of course, they've been good for set pieces. They've been good away from home. They've been winning a lot of games. But I felt like it was conservative and negative at the same time. And when you do that against Arsenal and you give Arsenal the initiative to put pressure on you, then you won't come out very well, because we have many weapons to break you down. So I felt like they were negative from the start. So that he sent that negative message to his team, and it sent a message to Arsenal as well, in terms of, these guys don't want to win the game, they want to play for a draw or something, or they want to play on the break, or try to nick in something, playing percentage football. So it sends a message to Arsenal as well. I thought we started very well in the game. We set up well in terms of how we attacked them the first 10 minutes especially, but I think until that Leo Trossard injury break, it settled them a bit, Tottenham, to sort of get used to. But in terms of how I rewatched the game again, I felt there was a period that was down, but we still dominated the ball, but we didn't create much chances. We were probing, trying to break them down. So when I was rewatching, I thought of the Palace game that we played. The one thing Palace did in that game well we try. I saw some people doing analysis of the game, especially on Sky. So on how with Roberto Martinez and Jamie Carragher, they were doing how Arsenal will try and go forward, break them down, get behind their midfield, but they Spurs were compact a bit, but Arsenal will play the ball wide or back to attract them to move. Those are the things that we're trying in that Palace game, where we try to make them jump and press us. So what Palace did, they will press a bit and see, and then they see we are patient, and then they will push back and formulate in a regard of, I think, yeah, they will try to form a block where they don't jump out and press us when we try to attract them to come to them, attract them to come to us to press. So they will need. I remember Mikel Arteta mentioning that we tried things, but they didn't bite. So we tried things to make them jump off their line or to try and bite and try and come press. So it's more about letting your opponents come to you so you can punish them. So that kind of things. So Spurs will beat their sort of press and get behind the initial forward line and getting, and then once we can't break them, and then we'll try and pull them back. But one thing for the first, we did that in the first minute. We're moving the ball quicker with much intensity, with sort of a lot of rotations. You see, one of our rotations is where our fullbacks will go between the lines, especially during Timber will go in between the lines, or you will find Eze there. There was always a triangle in the Saka, Timber on the inside, and maybe Mikel Merino will come in on wide right, like usually. He'll come wide right to attract balls. So it's difficult. And then the Spurs centre-backs, they didn't want to go with him, which was disappointing. I felt like you have 3 centre-backs, meaning one can go with him. You still have enough numbers. But what that they didn't want to come and follow Mikel Merino. What that then did was open the space between their 2 defensive midfielders in Bentancur and Palinia. So what that did was they were covering wide. They were always outnumbered in that space around the D in the central area between the midfield and the defense. They were always outnumbered there. You'll find Eze, Merino around that area, and then you have Timber and Timber. We have Timber and Calafiori making runs beyond their defense. So, and their defense wanted to be on a line, in shape and on a line, but they weren't moving anyway. It's easier to play balls. We already see in the second minute when Eze played the ball over the top for Rice, he did the ball on volley. So they couldn't cope with that. So when we started exploiting that space all the time, they couldn't cope with that because we kept outnumbering them, and they couldn't mark our people because Merino and Eze can move anywhere, and they can move. And then you have runners in Calafiori, Trossard, and Saka and Timber, so they couldn't deal with that. Even Zubimendi at times will come closer to the area. So something that I'm learning about the team in terms of how they break down low blocks, and then that was the key role for Merino and Eze in terms of exploiting that space. They were always around that space. Merino, it's either one of them or both of them around that space. So, and then, like I always think, the football IQ, how smart footballers have to be, because normally people are told what to do, but to do some of the things that this Arsenal team does on and off the ball, and how they make teams do things by just moving the ball, by rotating positions and attracting them to certain areas. You see that like Spurs will flood an area, but they can't get the ball. Even the Trossard goal, you'll see them get attracted to where the ball is, because Duran Timber runs inside, and then we find him, there's 4 Spurs players around him. He turns and 3 of them move. They are out of the game. And Merino and Eze are in space on that side with Trossard in line with their defense, and he makes it, and he gets the ball to Mikel Merino, who has ample space because the centre backs won't come and won't follow him, but they are standing there, they are not taking responsibility. And then Trossard makes a Freddie Ljungberg-like run over the top, first touch, spins, and then finish it, takes a deflection in one goal. Then their whole game plan is out the window, and now they are playing in our own hands. And even after that goal, they didn't know what to do because they've set up in this negative way. Now they don't know whether to stick to that or to try and attack. So, and then the second goal came, similar kind of fashion, similar areas as a great goal. And then second, they've changed something, and then third goal came in, and then game over. Brilliant game from us in terms of how we set up. Wonderful game. Happy for Eze. He got the goals, and then now I feel like now he's sort of settled now in the team. This will give him confidence and boosting, and also because teams will see the threat that he provides in those areas, they're going to try to find solution to close that, which gives us another avenue to exploit. Because if you try and close that space the way find a solution, we would need also to find a solution to what you're doing and try to exploit another area. Because what we've known is most teams will try and triple and double up on Saka or our wingers. That attracts people. Now we have that space in the central areas. When they try to do that, to close on our wingers, now we can access those spaces, especially with our rotations and movement, especially the fullbacks, even one of the midfielders, Declan Rice as well. So this is something that we've learned. The team is really efficient in doing, finding solutions. They are no longer talking about set pieces now. We scored the most goals from open play than in any other team in November, so we're good. Yeah, man, I was impressed in terms of our tactical plan and how we executed the plan, and how efficient and how physical and dominant we were from that games, and how much effort we put in the game. There's a lot to improve, but we are very good. I was impressed by the team. Wonderful game. Some of the key players, Hincapie came in for Gabriel. There was a lot of talk before the game in terms of how we're going to cope without Gabriel. I think he was comfortable in that game. Space didn't cause any threats. He won all headers he got. His ground football, his calmness on the ball, his ability to pass or step on the ball and calm it down and pass the ball well. It was magnificent. I want to see him play again, to build a relationship with Saliba and his left back and then the midfielders. So great for him, another player. And then Rice was spectacular again. His combination with Zubimendi in that midfield, their midfield was non-existent, so we dominated that. Mikel Merino again, that guy is special. He is a special player. He provided, two assists. No, one assist. Let me think. He provided Trossard an assist. I think Timber provided the other assist. So there is a goal, and Rice and Trossard. Okay, yeah. Great assist for him. It was great in that game. And then Leandro Trossard. In the last month or so, 2 months, he's been magnificent. He has the most goal contributions for a national player. He's been magnificent on the left-hand side. I think his role in the side is like really Leo. Off the ball, on the ball, he's been very good. Disciplined, holds his shape, put pressure on his fullback, combines well with Calafiori, scoring goals, creating goals. He's been magnificent. I think we always get frustrated with Leo when he doesn't score or contribute a goal, but he's been everything we needed from Leo in the past few weeks. Him and Saka have been really good. I think he's probably going to be our player of the month for this month, for November. I think he's been really good for us. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for the North London Derby. Then we move on to the Champions League. Some water. We face Bayern, who have been doing well this season, very good. They've won 4 of their 4 Champions League games. 2 of the best teams been meeting in this game. So I think before the last round, when we're doing the last round, a lot of talk was this game was going to be a really, really good game. And they will be missing Luis Diaz, who got a red card in that their game against PSG. They were brilliant in that game as well. They won that. And then a lot of threats. Kane, we know about him. He usually gets his obligatory goal when he plays at the Emirates. Michael Olise, brilliant player, brilliant footballer. Serge Gnabry coming back to the Emirates. So yeah, they are very trained. The likes of Kimmich, Goretzka, defense likes of Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, Pavlovic. They are very good. No, not Pavlovic. Stanisic and Lemma, Neuer and goal. Yeah, they're a very good side, Bayern, like typical Bayern with their great history. So typical game against Bayern, big team. But a lot of talk up this week about if Mikel will rotate the team, which game is important between Arsenal and Chelsea. I think this scenario before the Atletico game and the Palace game on the Sunday, and then Mikel went with a strong team against Atleti. So and then we got a great result in that game as well. So probably continuation of the team, but the great thing is that we're getting players back from injuries. So Madueke came on as a sub in the North London derby. Martinelli was on the bench. Mikel mentioned that Odegaard was close to playing on Sunday, but they were gonna, after he mentioned that they were gonna decide after training that if he is gonna be available for Odegaard for Bayern. So, and the likes of Havertz and Gyökeres are close as well to coming back, which is good for us. So having Martinelli back and Madueke back is very good for the team and an opportunity to rotate. There's quite a few players who haven't played much. Ben White hasn't played much, the likes of Norgard. I feel like if there's a rotation, people like Luis Kelly, he's been playing the Champions League games a lot, so he's very good in Europe as well. And Ben White, probably he needs an opportunity to play as well. And maybe give Martinelli a start, but maybe Mikel will try and continue. I know sometimes when you put in such a effort to win a game, you try, and then the next game usually the performance goes down a bit. But in the Champions League, man, probably gonna try and produce. Maybe he's gonna make a few changes in the team to keep up with that. But I think we can put in a strong team against them, and then we can get a result. So in terms of my team for tomorrow, I think continuation of what happened on Sunday, except probably Ryan goal, Timber, Saliba, Hincapie, and maybe left back Luis Kelly coming in, and then in midfield Women and Rice, and then up front Merino and Saka and Trossard, and then hopefully Martin Odegaard is on the bench, Madueke, Martinelli on the bench with the kids as well. So I think that's my team that I'll go with for tomorrow, and I feel like we can do this one 2-1. I think we can win this game 2-1 at home. I know the atmosphere at Emirates will go again. On Sunday was crazy. I think they can pull off another great atmosphere at the Emirates. Maybe we have another T4 again for this game. So yeah, man, I think we can getting another scalp of a big team in Europe will be great, and then on to Chelsea on Sunday. Thank you for watching. I'll post this on YouTube. It's gonna be available on audio on Spotify and Apple. Also follow us on the socials. We're on TikTok at Ghana's in Africa, similar on Instagram, and Threads on Ghana's in Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Come on.